Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I am Shekhar Gupta, in fact, in my neighborhood. And my guest today, somebody we describe as liberal lion of the bar, Fali Nariman. Welcome to Walk the Talk.
Good, thank you.
The description fits. I know you look embarrassed, but the description fits. It doesn't fit anybody else if it doesn't fit you.
Well, at least I think people all over India will know that summer has set in.
Yes, absolutely. It's a very warm winter morning, spring morning in fact.
Spring morning, yeah. Not so bad, not so bad. But winter is over now.
No, in deference to you, I brought a blazer along, but once I saw you like this, I felt encouraged to roll up my sleeves.
Quite.
Because you also always have your sleeves rolled up.
Well, in a way of speaking, yes. In a way of speaking, yes. Although I'm not quite fighting fit.
Yes. No, you're always fighting fit. Now, I call you a liberal lion of the bar. You're a liberal lion of India. And I know that you're taking no chances. You got the tricolor before you get orders to put it there.
No, nobody ordered me. Nobody ordered.
Before you get orders.
My wife ordered me.
She orders everybody.
My wife ordered
Morning,
me.
Babsi. Fali, last time we had a conversation, again in this neighborhood, it was many years ago.
Many years ago.
Many years ago.
I was much younger, and so were you.
So was I. I was much younger. You've only grown younger now. Then the concern was judicial corruption,
Yes.
and what needed to be done, and the credibility of judiciary.
Yes.
What is irritating you these days?
Well, I think, you see, to my mind, the first two freedoms of Roosevelt, the freedom from want and the freedom from fear, are the two things that have always worried me in this country.
Right.
Probably the budget has taken care of freedom from want. If the economists and all the great guns are right. I'm not quite sure. But so far as freedom from fear is concerned, that's become, it's a gnawing thing. It's growing, which I feel is wrong.
Gnawing means it's cutting at you,
It's
biting at you.
biting at people, biting at everybody. We are not quite sure whether what we should say is correct or not.
So, Fali, two things. One, you are saying that the bar for sedition law is now set very high, constitutionally and legally.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If only people realized it. I mean, I don't know. There's some brainwave of somebody or the other, somewhere or the other. We don't know where, but somewhere raked up a section which nobody knew anything about. Nobody even thought about it. In fact, we had to look it up whether it was 124 or 124A.
Right.
And then we corrected ourselves and said, no, it's section 124A of a penal code of 1860.
Right.
It's all right.
Is the penal code outdated now?
Yes and no.
77 we talk about.
Yes and no, because there are, I don't think the definitions in the penal code are so brilliantly formulated in a language, of course, which is not Indian, it's English. But it's so brilliantly formulated that it's never been better. But there are many concepts that have now got out of tune. Right. For instance, the Supreme Court has entertained the plea that defamation, which is maligning you in your character, is now outmoded. Criminal defamation is outmoded
yes.
all over the world. Why not abolish it?
In fact, civil should be made much stronger.
Much stronger.
Criminal should be abolished.
That's right. And damages should be made much more, as abroad.
Yes.
And actually, there's been a big debate in our court.
And justice should be delivered at least in one lifetime.
And judgment is awaited. Right. I don't know how far it will go, whether Section 499 will be struck down or will not be. But whatever the position,
right.
These things are all current. People are thinking afresh about these various provisions. So I don't agree that the penal code is outdated. No, in fact, it's very much alive. But there are various provisions which perhaps require, and that's the question of fear that I was telling you about. Right. You see, how easy is it if it was easy to put a charge of murder on people? How many of them would speak at all?
Right.
I mean, how many of them would speak at all?
And sedition is as
big as murder. It's extraordinarily important that we have regard to everything. Therefore, I think this is a wrong emphasis, the wrong emphasis.
So do you think that...
this is a great country, I mean, and we are progressing, we are going on, and I have no doubt that we will be better than everybody else.
Do you think the government has erred in the JNU case by using sedition law?
Yeah, I think so, because there's no point. I mean, it's unnecessary, taking a big hammer to strike at a little ant or a few ants and things of that sort. It's all right to speak of anti-Indian and pro-Indian and so on. But what is pro-Indian, what is anti-Indian? Everybody is pro-Indian. I mean, I have not come across people in this country who deserve to be called citizens. Otherwise, they are not don't deserve to be called citizens.
Right.
Deprive them of their citizenship. If they are,
you've not come across people who can be called seditious?
Yes, who can be called seditious unless they say something which is monstrous.
Right.
But I don't like hate speech, for God's sake.
Right.
And I agree with the finance minister who the other day said that hate speech is certainly not allowed in our country. And that's one of the very worrying things today.
Because nothing happens. There is Section 295.
Yeah, but it only stirs up hatred amongst a section of people. And what's the point of hatred? We can't progress. However much we want to progress, we can't progress in an atmosphere of fear, of hatred, and so on. So we have to realize all this. And I'm sure the Prime Minister realizes it. That's why perhaps he doesn't say a word about various things.
But would you rather that he did?
Of course I would. I do think he should. He should say this is wrong, this is right. And people will listen to him because he's a very populist leader.
He's a fellow Guju.
Yeah, he's a fellow Guju. But of course we Parsis speak Gujarati very poorly. He speaks a very, very short Gujarati. No, but that's not the point, you see. I mean, he's a patriot. We are all patriots. Why do you assume that we are not? Right. Everybody else is a patriot.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, there's no point. But
unless proven otherwise, which is very rare.
Yes, and I was a little saddened to see that, that this air of sort of compliance even sometimes wafts into judicial corridors. We found this gentleman released on bail, whether he was rightly released or wrongly released, a matter of opinion. But you see, instead of exhorting him to behave himself, which was very good, which I think the judge was correct in Delhi High Court judge. There was no need to say that our freedoms are given because our soldiers fight in the borders. That was unnecessary. Of course, our soldiers are very gallant people and they have done a great deal, but our freedoms are given by our constitution. For God's sake.
And by our judges, and by our MPs and our parliament.
Yes, and by our parliament as well. Right. There's no doubt about it. These are the great institutions of government. This is why...
And by some lawyers.
No, but this is why I miss people like old VAJPAYEE. He was a fantastic human being. And in my 6 years in parliament, I've never spent more educated than by listening to him. He had a aplomb of gathering people around him.
Right.
Always. Never pushing them. Of course, he'd make fun of the opposition. Of course, he'd say a few funny things about them, etc. But at the same time, if someone made a good point, if an opposition member made a good point, he'd congratulate him and he'd welcome him. But nowadays, you see, things have become so shrill. All your channels, every spokesman of every political party will never admit that the political party is wrong on anything.
Do you watch any of this evening
circuses? Yes, I do watch. I spend almost an hour watching these channels, but I find it galling. Not one, neither the Congress, nor the BJP, nor the RJD, nor anybody. He will never admit
that I was wrong.
I was wrong, my party was wrong. Why not admit that your party was wrong? What's wrong with it? In fact, that encourages it.
So, Fali, I'm picking up the thread from you because you brought it in. Do you see an increasing militarization of Indian thinking? This conflating of patriotism with the armed forces only?
Yeah, I suppose so.
And our dominant religion with nationalism.
Yeah, but I think it'll all go, I have great faith in the country still. I have great faith in numbers. I have great faith in the people, in the young, particularly the young. The young are, after all, they are, of course, they say a lot of nonsensical things, etc. But that's how you grow up. That's how people think. That's how, especially in colleges and so on. And I think we should just let things alone. Don't tinker with the education system. It's okay. A few books here and there, a few you can prescribe by all means. All our patriots, by all means, prescribe it. But let's have an inculcation of a genuine spirit of nationalism, not national party politics, for God's sake.
And nationalism sort of in an argumentative sense.
Yes, of course, in an argumentative sense, because who is a nationalist? It's very difficult to say who is a nationalist or who is anti-national. Very easy to, if somebody wants to say something against a particular policy, you dub him as anti-nationalist. But that's not right. It's not right. And that's why I blame both the political parties. I have been 6 years in Parliament, 3 years with one government, 3 years with another government. And I found that this sort of thing goes on and on and on. But fortunately, you see, we had, even Manmohan Singh, with all his faults, perhaps, which many people may now rake up, they never entered the well of the court, of the house, never entered the well of the house. They always spoke from their seat. So did VAJPAYEE, so did all of them.
So does Mr. Modi.
So does Mr. Modi. He also doesn't rake up everything. But I think this sort of trying to be more loyal than the king is a bit of a problem.
But times were different, Fali. When you fought with Mrs. Gandhi, I believe she wrote a nice letter to you instead.
Yes, you're right.
Instead of calling you anti-national.
Yeah, oh yes, I was not called anti-national, although I was very fearful at that time. God knows what would have happened. Emergency.
You're 40 years younger.
Yeah, I was fearful. No, you're saying I wasn't. You do.
Skin wasn't as thick as it.
Yeah, but you do. That Kipling's, that's a beautiful poem of his, on fear. It's beautiful, and that's what. And this is something that one must learn. That we do have all the faults of our system, but there were much braver people in the
lines. I don't.
No, I don't remember the lines, but we had brave lawyers in the library. There used to be a fellow who used to sit there and he used to swear at the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice who said that liberty is the gift of the law, and by law it can be taken away. That was monstrous.
Monstrous, yes.
But that goes into the psyche of people.
Right.
Therefore, judges should always reflect on what they say, because people look after them. People take their learning from them, because they are looked upon as people, a different type of individuals. They may be citizens as you and me.
This judge saying that those who shout these slogans will not last for an hour on Siachen Glacier.
Unnecessary. You see all these things. These are all promptings. You see, this is where people do get influenced. The winds of politicians do blow into the corridors of the court.
Or the winds of news channels.
News channel, particularly news channel.